Kia Michaels.
Hi.
We finally hooked up here.
Yeah, we finally did hook up.
And thank you to my friend Serena, my childhood friend. Said, Kev, you need to contact this woman, get her on the air.
Yeah.
And she's probably listening right now and cracking up. But he said, you need to contact her and get her on the air. So what I'm doing this month, I want to do a thing on the women artists here in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And I got Miss Freddie next week. I got Kia today.
Awesome.
And we're going to try to get Christiane in her hair. And probably Mandy and a few other folks before it's all done, before the end of the year. So if y'all are listening, you know, better make yourself available on Sunday. Anyhow, Kia's here. And let's start from the beginning. How did you first get involved in music?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been singing since I was a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until 2009 that I decided to take it on as a professional career.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a household where both of my parents were musicians. My dad is a guitarist and a singer,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom is a violinist. So as I was growing up, all I heard was music.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my dad would go out and he would play a lot and do cabarets. And I don't know, I started singing at a young age. I wrote my first song along with my sister at the age of 9. And I've always been intrigued by music.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2009, you know, I decided to seek out a vocal coach.
Okay.
And I did.
So you grew up here in Pittsburgh?
I grew up here in Pittsburgh,
Pittsburgh
yes.
Public Schools?
Yes, Pittsburgh Public Schools.
Which ones?
Oh my goodness. I went to Fort Pitt.
Okay.
Grew up in Garfield, kind of, sort of.
Uh-huh.
We bounced all over the place. Then I went to Del Suver.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Knoxville Middle School.
Okay.
And I went to Carrick High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Went over on the south side, huh?
Yes, on the south side of town. Yes.
Okay.
And, went to Carrick High School, and I knew that when I was in elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the 4th or 5th grade, my music teacher, I knew that something was big when my music teacher came running out of the door, and my mom would come pick us up from school, my sister and my brother. And my brother, I think he went on to middle school, but I was in the 4th grade, and he came running out the building to my mom, and he says, oh my gosh, your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she made choir, she's amazing. We had to get up and have a partner, and I did On the Wings of Love
Mm-hmm.
by Jeffrey Osborne.
Okay.
And I had a partner, her name is Tracy. I'm not going to say her last name. I don't want to put her on blast on here, but we began singing, and I knew that song in and out. I knew it because my mom would play it a lot, my dad would play it a lot, and I would sing it at home, and I knew the verses by heart, the chorus and everything. And it was at that moment that I knew that I loved to sing. We were on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I was nervous for a second, and then he was on the piano, and then as soon as he started taking off with those keys, it was almost like I had been doing this for a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
I was little, I was like 4th grade, and I knew when my music teacher came running out the building and saw my mom, he was like, oh my goodness. I knew that music was something that was just in me.
Mm-hmm.
So through the years, I was just, singing in the shower, in the house, and it wasn't until 2009 I said, you know what, I'm the kind of person that I can't stay boxed in. When I want to do something, I do it. I don't know when I do it, but I don't know when I will do it, but I always do it. In 2009, I sought out a vocal coach, and we trained off and on for a couple of years. I also enrolled in the jazz workshop.
Okay.
I know you know them people.
Oh yeah, very well. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The late Mr. Harold Young.
Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
indeedy. Now, I wasn't there long, though. I just stayed for like a semester because the funny part about me was that I didn't even know jazz. You know, I grew up in an era where it was more of the R&B.
R&B stuff.
But the different R&B, like the Joe C, and we had the guys with the baggy jeans and the earrings and the tattoos.
When Pittsburgh had like a black radio station that would play that music.
Yeah, yes. And, you know, I just, jazz was like, I wasn't familiar with it. But the funny part about it was that, do you remember the show called Moonlighting?
Mm-hmm.
El Giro.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't familiar with jazz, something in me, when I heard him sing that, that stuck with me. And I would tend to love artists like that. I loved his vocal ability. I loved the music behind it. And though I was doing R&B, you know, there was something about the jazz that I didn't know, but it was in me. Mm-hmm. So it was so funny that Harold had said to me, you know, he said, Kia, he said, you know, you need to learn some jazz tunes. I thought he was crazy. I said, I'm not going to learn no jazz tunes. I'm going to stick with my R&B, you know. And it wasn't until, I'm not sure, probably 2011 is when I started to tackle, you know, jazz.
But didn't your mom and dad know some jazz stuff?
They were, you know what, I believe so, but my dad would do what he calls top 40.
Oh yeah, he got into that. Okay.
Yes, so he really didn't have a love for jazz at all. But he would do like Wes Montgomery. At the time, I didn't know who that was.
Right.
And he did a lot of you know, like Kool and the Gang, Too Hot, you know, and things like that. And he was doing, I guess, what you call his top 40. He really wasn't into jazz. My mom, being a violinist, she would do a lot of American classics, a lot of show tunes, like The Sound of Music, you know. So jazz wasn't something that was in my home, though it was still in me.
Right. I understand.
Yeah. So
yeah, because I've kind of like similar circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, my mom was a piano player. And she had the same piano teacher as Earl Garner.
Okay.
And I'm like, and she tells me all this stuff when I'm older, right? I'm like, I said, you what? Yeah, oh yeah, I know that. And your uncle was good friends with Ray Brown and this and that. I'm like, oh man. Then she said, yeah, I went to high school with Walt Harper too. I'm like, what?
Oh my goodness.
So she's telling me all this stuff, you know. But let me tell you a little bit about your dad now.
Oh my goodness! I hope it's good. Don't tell me the bad stuff. Save that for later.
And I hope he's
when
listening.
The mic is off.
Well, I went to Peabody High School.
Yeah.
I grew up in Homewood, but my family went to church in Garfield. Okay, here's the connection, folks.
Oh boy.
My family went to church in Garfield at Morningside Baptist Church. So there were a lot of different families around in that neighborhood. The old part of Garfield, like off of Black Street, stuff. Old part of Black Street, okay. Sullivan Street is where the Morningside Church is at.
Yeah.
So there were various families there. There was McCain's, the McGinnises,
oh Lord,
the Thorntons,
yeah,
and a few other families around there, and the Williamses, and the Williams family. And the Williams family, they were all very good singers. The brothers and sisters would sing in church and stuff like that. And that's how I knew about your dad, McGinnis. Because my grandmother and your grandmother, my grandmother, your great grandmother, my grandmother, they all knew each other. So when you said my dad is Sam McGinnis, I said, what?
You're like, wait, hold up, I know him. I know that brother.
Back up here a bit here. You know, so that's how we got into that discussion. Like, Pittsburgh is so small.
Yeah,
you never know who you're going to run into. But if you talk to somebody long enough, you figure out there's some type of connection there somewhere. So when you said your dad was Sam, I'm like, oh,
like, wait,
you definitely
That's
from
a
musical family.
Yes.
Because I know them, they all play like in high school or stuff like that.
My dad, my uncle who played the bass, my other uncle played the drums, and my aunts, me and my aunts, whatever aunts and aunts.
Then we got all those other connections from Garfield. There's like Rodney McCoy,
Yeah,
and the
good friends with
McCord
my
and the
dad.
McCords and all those folks.
Yeah.
You know, so we all know each other.
Oh my.
We've all known each other since we're like, and Burl listens like every Sunday, and Burl, you're listening. So this is Sam's daughter.
Hello.
Who I'm talking to. But you know, it's a small world, but
It is a small world.
it's good to see that you decided to take things up like that. And I've noticed
Thank you.
from a lot of the materials that you put out that you take your time and you want to make sure that everything is done right.
I do.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. I mean, folks, if you try to like access her music, you're not going to be able to do that unless she gives you the music, unless she gives it to like a radio person or something like that, because she wants to protect her stuff. She has her copyrights. She has all that stuff. So you know the music business. You're continually learning more about the music business. So that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
I am. I think I'm evolving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like every week. You know, and just learning and connecting. I think that the connecting is more essential than anything else. Making sure that I don't just stay complacent, you know, where I'm at, and being able to be open and venture out. Like I said, I can't stay boxed in.
I want to remind you folks that you're listening to WRCT Pittsburgh, and we're here in the studio. We're talking to Kia Michaels. We have her here, and she's going to be with us for a little while longer. We're talking about her musical background. We're going to be hearing some of her music, and we're just like kicking. So our phone number here is area code 412-268-9728. We're not going to take a break yet, but when we do, you can call her up and say hi. Or you can go to our one-to-one page on Facebook, and I'll pull that up, and you can say hi that way.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that way. Yeah, we do that. So this vast musical background. Yeah, how did you first able to get your music shop going?
Well, the first thing I started performing in 2000 and probably late 2010, or the beginning of 2011. You know, I started sitting in at some of the local clubs and things like that, sitting in with the bands. You know, I was scared to death when I first got out there.
Oh, at the jam sessions?
Yeah, at the jam sessions,
okay.
because I had to get myself sworn in. And I started sitting in, and I didn't sit in for a long time. I sat in for, oh my God, it could have been maybe a year. Then I said to myself, Kia, you know, well, this is what I noticed when I was sitting in, Kevin, that the singers, the quote-unquote professional singers, didn't sound any different than some of the singers that were, what do we want to say, not yet established. To me, they weren't. They had more stage presence and more stage experience, but the vocal ability wasn't really, to me, much different, depending on who the artist was. So I said to myself, if that person can get up there and do that, I'm like, okay, Kia, I can do that. I can't, you know, I don't want to sit in with bands forever. I have to get to the point to where I say, Kia, it's time to get out there. So I started hiring different musicians, and I started performing around Pittsburgh. I've done coffee houses, I've done restaurants, I've even done nursing homes, I've done some clubs, I've done annual events. You know, I really do a lot now, you know, especially during the summertime with the parks and things like that. But yeah, I said, you know, I just don't want to stay complacent. I just don't want to stay, you know, if you want to, you don't want to stay where you're at, you know.
Well, you know, I always get into this discussion in person and online with people about the need for people to create their own situation.
Yes.
All right. Now, we're talking about the closing of James Street. All right. So yes, James Street is closing, but that's not the end of the jazz community in Pittsburgh. That's not the end of any of those different musics that were played there in Pittsburgh. What artists and musicians have to do is start creating their own spaces to play.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, you don't always have to be at the jazz club. You could do like a house concert, or like you said, at the coffee house, at the VFW, wherever, to create a space where you can expose people to your music. All right, and where people will come to listen to your music in a non-threatening manner, where they don't feel threatened by the place or the community or what have you, where they just feel comfortable. Listen to the music. So artists, have to be able to create their own spaces, all right? Or if it's not the artists themselves, it's whoever's working with them to help create those spaces to expose your brand.
Exactly. I think the artists tend to rely on these clubs, and they tend to rely on these clubs instead of creating the outlets for themselves.
Right.
I want to say that a lot of the performances that I have done, I've created them for myself. Connecting with people, and again, I'll say it again, it's very important as an artist that you connect with people, because if you don't, you will be in the same place, same space, day after day and year after year.
Well, one of the things I did when I worked for City Parks, because I saw you on Stars of Riverview. I used to book artists for Stars of Riverview and for Reservoir Jazz. I did that for about 6 or 7 years for the city, doing that. But I didn't want to bring in the same people every year. Now, I know some people are more popular than others, but also some artists like to play outside more than others. Mr. Walt Harper used to love to play in the parks in the summertime. And he used to call me up like every year and say, "Hey, Kevin Amos, you got a gig for me this summer?" I didn't tell him that my mom and him went to school or anything like that, but I didn't tell my mom. She just started laughing. But I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. Harper called me today." But it was like Mr. Harper, and then I found out that the late Jimmy Ponder, wasn't hardly getting any play in any of the clubs in Pittsburgh. But he was playing like all over the world, right? But when he came home and based himself at home, he wasn't getting any play in the local clubs. I'm like, okay.
I'm shaking my head.
I'm going to let Mr. Ponder, I'm going to give Mr. Ponder the opportunity to play in the park. So we got him up at Reservoir Jazz. And he loved doing that. It was like, reaching out to the folks in the audience, and then later on you saw him, see him playing in James Street and all kinds of other different places in town.
Wow. And you said something that was key. When you used to do the booking you didn't just bring in the same artist, and I think that creates a stumbling block, a roadblock for artists like me. When we do come out and perform, the audience goes crazy and they say, "Well, where have you been?" And I'm like, look, this is not because of me. It's because, I'm in a city here that's locked into the politics of bringing in the same artist. And what it does is it blocks the listener from, getting to hear other, genres of music and other talent that's out here. There's so much talent that's out here, and the listeners are being robbed.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
There is an awful lot of talent on here. Somebody come up to me and say, "Young people don't like jazz." I'm like, "You are wrong." You said, "You're very wrong."
Amen.
Then I give them the example of Reverend Tim Smith over in Hazelwood with the Center of Life, and how the COL Jazz Band was gathered from young high school students from around the region, and they end up going to Monterey youth jazz festival and winning the competition.
Wow.
Now, you telling me that kids don't like jazz here in Pittsburgh? You know, yes, they do love jazz here in Pittsburgh, but you have to expose them to the music. You know, people don't like. If people don't like something, it's not because they just don't like it. It's because they've probably never been exposed to it before.
Exposed to it.
You know? So that's where we come in on the radio.
Yes.
All right, because radio has always been a way to expose people to many different artists. So you got some music for us.
Yes, I do.
And this is a tune called "I Love You." It's a great promotional one she hears. She's learning her lesson. She knows how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
She has a picture on her hair. She has the information.
Found out the hard way.
Where you get it at, how you can contact her.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
Found out the hard way.
And a little bit of biographical information.
Absolutely.
Too. And if you want to get more, you go to our website.
Exactly. Hey, like I said, I found out the hard way. Hey, if you keep wasting money over and over again, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn.
One year we had each one teach one here, and that's when we were doing the Carnegie Mellon. And an artist came and said, "Well, I have all my CDs, and they're all in my garage." And my friend Bob Davis from Soberville said, "Well, they're not going to do you any good sitting in your garage. How are you going to merchandise them? How are you going to get people to buy them?
Absolutely.
We know you're good, but how are you going to get people to exposure?" And I think she caught on to that, and it hasn't happened anymore. I bet she doesn't have a pile of CDs in the garage anymore. But we got your music. We're going to listen to a cut from your CD. It's called "I Love You."
Debut single.
So you've been working on some other tracks. I know you got some other tracks sitting on the side waiting
I do. That one there's you'll be listening to my debut single titled "I Love You." My other two, that's off of an EP of 3 actually, and I'll be releasing the other 2 next year.
Okay.
And right now I'm currently working on my full album that I'm very excited about, and I'm hoping for that to be released probably late fall of 2018.
Okay.
So, but yeah, this is my debut single. It was released on July 28th, and it has done wonderfully. I don't know if you follow me.
Now you told me that someone over in the UK is playing you.
Oh God, I'm actually number 1 on 2 of the charts.
Okay.
Over in the UK, 2 of the radio charts over there, and it was funny because I started out at number 17 one week, and then the next week I jumped up to number 7, and then in the next week I was like, "Woo, I'm number 1," and so exciting to know that your music is loved, all over the world, and that there's people that are digging it and are listening to it. So yeah.
Well, that's good because we do have a few listeners that listen to us on the web.
What's that?
Every week.
What's that?
Over that way.
Yeah.
So Kia Michaels, y'all. So look for her, and we're going to hear our single right now here at WRCT. Man. Kia. I Love You, that's the name of the tune. Wow. Great production.
Thank you.
On there. Who's some of the musicians on there?
Oh my goodness.
Mike Davis. I know Mike.
Guitar player. He's fabulous. My producer, Dwayne Fulton.
Okay.
Is absolutely amazing. There's Mike Davis on guitar. There's Kenzie Prezant or Pizant, whatever, on bass, and let me see. Drums is JR. Yeah.
Okay. So was it produced here locally?
Yes, it was produced here on keys is, of course, Dwayne Fulton.
Okay.
It was produced here. Yes, produced locally.
Okay.
Yes.
Good production on you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm looking at your single. Girl, you got it down.
Yeah.
You got it down. You got your thing all together here. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you.
You know, you try to tell people that they need to do this, that, or the other, and
they don't listen, but I listen.
They ain't getting it.
Right.
And of course, you probably had your mom and dad say, "No, you got to do it like this."
No, you know what? I think it's important to have a circle of people around you who know more than what you know, and who are business savvy. And I think I had to get hit on the head a couple of times, but yeah, I learned, or I continuously learn from, those circle of supporters, and I learned how to make sure that the graphics are phenomenal or great, and make sure that you just don't want a tight song, and then you go look at the CD cover and say, ooh. Because people are visual, and you want something if it's sitting in the store, you want something that stands out. Yes, and I thought that if they saw that cover right there, you'd have to see that cover. It's very classic. It's like that I tried to emulate that 1950s, 1960s classic, classy look. Yeah, not the trashy look, but the classy one. Hey.
That's wonderful. How did it come about writing this tune, I Love You?
Oh my gosh. I used to, I was singing to my little one, who's 5 now, at night, and I just used to sing, I love you. But it's so funny. My daughter was born with she had issues with her kidneys, and I thought in 2015 that I was going to lose her. So she had to have major surgery to remove one of the kidneys, and I think in my mind, I was thinking, okay, Kia, sometimes you're a mom, you're working, you're so busy, were you missing her, as far as, you're so busy, sometimes you may tend to, as a parent, to miss things that are going on at home. And I wrote this song to say, hopefully we're not taking each other for granted, and we need to acknowledge the love that's right in front of our face. And in that song, I'm basically saying, I acknowledge you now. I realize you. I realize, I see you now. I saw you before, but I really see you now, and I love you. And if I haven't shown it, and if it seemed as if I haven't acknowledged you, here I am. I love you, and I want you to know that. So I kind of wrote this for my daughter, even though it sounds like a love song. I mean, this song could be used in many ways for that spouse that doesn't appreciate, their marriage or their partner, or for this could be your relationship with God too, as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true. So what do you want? What are you planning on doing next? It's about that time to start looking at those summer gigs for the city, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people wait till the last minute.
The last minute.
June is too late, folks.
Yeah, then they're booking. You can't get in. You're like, oh my goodness.
Now is the time.
Now is the time. What am I doing next? We mean, like, as far as?
Yeah. What are you planning on doing?
Well, goodness gracious.
Because you just had, you had an event a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I performed at this Legal Excellence Dinner, and I'll be on WPXI for the parade coming up. Yeah, I wanted to keep that a secret and surprise you, Kevin.
Oh, yeah,
so you see me say, "Oh, there's Kia."
The holiday parade that they have every year.
Yes, I'll be on
that's
TV
wonderful.
for that. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But my plans probably for next year is just to perform more. I always wanted to go into acting and doing things like that. That's way down the road. But, my album, which I'm working on now, my full album, to release that next year, and just to perform, not just locally, but, east to the west, and just to keep it moving. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully some people are listening today that will do that. Now, you do have your website. What is that?
I do. It's www.kiamichaels.com. I spell that Kia with an E. That's KEAMICHAELS.com. You can also connect with me on Facebook under Kia Soul Music. And I'm on Twitter under Kia Soul Music. I'm on, what is the other one? Is it Instagram? Under Kia _Soul Music. And I also have a YouTube channel. I believe that's under Kia Michaels. And you can connect with me, and yeah.
Good. So that's how you do it, folks.
Yeah.
I had to sit there and navigate. Well, I'm good at that. So I found her stuff. You know what, folks? Here's something. She's not going to admit to this, but then again, maybe she will.
Lord have mercy. What's he going to say? Close your ears.
I was listening to her do her music in several different settings. And I'm like, oh, we got a Smokey Robinson fan here.
I love you, Smokey. If you're listening, hello.
If my friend Bob Davis is listening, Bob and I went to school at Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bob is a Smokey Robinson fanatic.
Wow.
And we both had the opportunity to meet him too. To meet him and several other members of the Miracles from down over the years.
Wow.
And stuff like that. So, but Bob's a Smokey Robinson fanatic, and I could tell. I'm like, oh, Kia loves
Smokey.
Smokey. Now, what was that? The one tune that you were doing?
I love my Ooh Baby Baby.
Oh yeah, Ooh Baby Baby.
Ooh, my goodness, and being with you, I love that. He's making me laugh.
Smokey is such a great songwriter.
Yes.
And the way he writes his lyrics are like, wow, how did he do that?
Right. And they're so laid back. His tunes are so laid back, and I like to lay back sometimes when I'm performing, and yeah. Big Smokey fan.
So I like those versions of Ooh Baby Baby.
Thank you. Thank you.
So if you get a chance, throw him a little bit of change. And then
no, he better throw me some money.
then you can do his too,
Yeah.
Hey, it was great.
Thank
great
you.
Hearing that. But Kia, anytime you want to come back on the air,
oh my, I love to
talk more about your music.
Thank you.
I got East One Teach One coming up in May of 2018. I'm still working on a location for next year.
Awesome.
But as soon as I get that together, you'll be one of the artists I'll be contacting about participating in that.
Yeah.
And one way or another, we might have a panel with several different artists on it. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
But it's been great having you on the air
Thank
today.
you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Hope to see you soon. I will see you soon.
Oh yeah, I've seen you around, but I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, you didn't know who I was.
But now I know.
Now you know.
Oh, that's Kia. Okay.
Yes.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, but thank you for taking your time out of your schedule to come on down here to the studio and talk to you about me and the listeners.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me.
Okay, so hit her up on Facebook, folks, and on Instagram, and on Twitter, and at her website.
Yeah.
Okay, and get her single.
Yes. It's called "I Love You," and it's on it's on iTunes, it's on CD Baby, Google Play, and did I say Amazon? Yeah, Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, and it's available now.